All right, what we have here is we have a hot water boiler. We've been talking about this type where we have the flame on the bottom, and these right here are tubes that are on top of the flame. The boiler starts up, the flame goes all the way across the bottom, heats up the water in these tubes for a hot water boiler, and it passes through coils and air handlers and through VAV boxes, variable air volume boxes in buildings. What we're doing today is we're examining burner tubes. This is a good burner tube, brand new. Your flame comes out through the top here. It's a ribbon burner. The way that these install is there's a small bolt that this sits over, and then right here there's a hole on the other side that this locks in. So they actually install very simply where it just locks over like that. The reason that we're replacing them is a lot of times you'll get rot out right here, especially with the intense heat that you have inside a boiler. If anything falls down in the boiler, and in this one in particular, what we had some of our insulating material actually fall down on top of the burner, and what this did was it made the flame push out, and in doing that it started to wear out the sides of the burner. And what that ended up doing was taking something that looks like this, and it made it look like this. So we actually blew a hole right in the back of the burner, and as you do that, when you blow that hole, you get a wide open flame. And as that wide open flame goes, it will come up the sides, and it will actually burn the insulation. So inside here, on all our panels, we have an insulation. I showed this piece. This is what fell on top of the burners, and then this is a fireproof insulation. So it's meant to keep all the heat inside the boiler, and with the flame it should not burn up. But what happens is, if a flame is going wild, you'll actually get soot, because it will, through the intense heat, burn that up. And inside here, and it's a little difficult to see, but down here, if I reach my hand in, you'll see all the soot. So this is actually this insulation that has burned off and forms in soot in the bottom. What also can happen with that is that can end up getting sucked up through your flue. That can end up going out in your heating system. It's not a good thing. So if you're getting a rollout like that, and you're getting everything falling on top of your burners, eventually what's going to happen is, as we've talked about with controls over here, your control is going to go into alarm. This being off right now as we're working on it, the control will go into alarm. This will shut off. Once it shuts off, you're not heating your building. And these burner tubes, it's important to note, you cannot just go down to the local store and pick them up. They're specialized. You have to use the burner tube that is required for that particular make and model of boiler. It is not recommended for you to get a knockoff burner tube that might be a little bit cheaper. These are actually pretty expensive, where you'll be spending about $40 to $50 per tube. And in this case right here, as I reach in here, take a look, and I pull these tubes out and see how they pull out relatively easily, I have a lot of tubes that are burned out on the back end. Ones like these are typical, but when you start getting in to holes forming that big, the last thing you want is that flame roll out, especially if you have anything surrounding the boiler, which you shouldn't. But if you have anything surrounding the boiler, where people tend to use boiler rooms as storage rooms, and again, you should not, that could push out and catch things on fire. So you want to make sure that at least once a year, you open up your boilers and you do an internal inspection to make sure that things like this aren't happening.